Welcome, I am Captain Matt, the creator of the training programs, the best boat captain with total boat control and docking mastery, trailer like a pro, confident coastal boater, tow water sports with confidence, boating fun amplifier toolbox, my book, Boat Buyer's Secret Weapon, and much, much more. Check out the channel. Today, we're talking 7 tips to make your boat look amazing for a lifetime. It's one of the things that a lot of people get into boating and they're just not sure how to take care of the looks of the boat. The maintenance is one thing. We're going to focus on the look. So here are some tips. 1, every boat outing, take these simple steps when you're finished up. Wipe down the exterior. You can just use your old beach towels. If you want to invest in some nice microfiber towels, that's even better. But I just use beach towels, the damp ones that we have. Wipe down the upholstery. The wettest towels wipe down the inside. The drier towels wipe down the outside. Do the windshield, wipe down the tower. All of the stainless. Remove any wet gear. This is really key. That means wet towels, wet life jackets, maybe even the carpet if you need to before you put that boat away. Open up the cushions in the compartments. Open up some doors. Prop them together so that there's airflow that gets through there, and then cover the boat once it's clean and dry. We'll talk about why that is in just a little bit. For stains and tough dirt. So for most of the time when you're cleaning your interior, this is after the every time you're out wipe down, but you just want to use a simple water vinegar solution. 10 parts water, 1 part white vinegar. If you want to invest the money, you can go 303 cleaner. Xanago has a great cleaner that I've used. Colonite, Boat Bling, all of those are really good. They don't have alcohol in them to dry out the seats. And just do a basic cleaning. Get down to the cracks and crevices, into any pleats that you may have, lift the cushions off, open everything up, and wipe down underneath where that dirt and the moisture gather. If you have an area that's a little tougher, take a step up and use a soft bristle brush, just lightly scrubbing that area, see if that works. If that doesn't work, maybe setting it out in the sun for an afternoon will do the trick. That will fade a lot of stains on your boat seats, so you don't have to use anything harsher. If that doesn't work, well, the last resort, maybe you can use a magic eraser very, very, very sparingly. It even hurts me to put that on there. But if there's a balance if you've got a tough stain to be really aggressive and get the stain out and damage your upholstery, or don't damage your upholstery and let the stain bug you to death. So use that balancing, whatever your personal decision is, but use it very, 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 very sparingly, and use that as the last resort. Once you do that cleaning, this is your weekly or every other week, every month cleaning that you do on your boat, depending on how often you use it. Then apply a protector. That's going to help keep the boat from staining easier, because every time you wash it, even just with the rag, it's going to wipe off some of that protective coating that's on this marine vinyl. Okay. So apply the 303 protector. Xanago has a mold and mildew protector that works great. I've actually got some tests going on right now that I'm waiting to produce the video to show the test results. Colonite has another good one as well. And mold and mildew. If you've got mold and mildew on your seats, what I recommend is clean the seats with the water vinegar solution and then take the step with the Xanago mold remover. I did it on my boat. And it works incredibly well. Super easy. I used a little bit of a soft bristle brush in some of the areas to get into those texture areas. Came right off, looks amazing, and then applied the protector after I did that so I can avoid it in the future. Okay, so that's the interior of the boat. This is sponsored by Boater's Secret Weapon, our ship store. You can get all of your boating gear at the store. Just go ahead and search the little tag up top. You can find your product. We've got them sorted out. We continue to improve the layout and the shoppability of the store. So look for that as we continue on through the season. The fiberglass. If you have a fiberglass boat, we're going to get to aluminum shortly. But if you have a fiberglass boat, you want to start with washing it consistent. So we're going to wipe it down every time we use it. Then we're going to wash it with a mild boat soap, a soft brush, or a soft mitt, okay? Avoid using Dawn dish soap on your regular washes. There's a place for Dawn dish soap. It is not the regular washes. It's a degreaser. It'll strip off any protective coating that's on that fiberglass, okay? Even the textured surface, even the non-skid areas, okay? Avoid it altogether on your regular washes. Once you wash the boat, now you can do, if you want to protect it, you want to do the ceramic coat. If you do that option, it's got to be prepped and applied properly. The focus on the prep. Most people that do this professionally, I'm in a bunch of detailing groups in the marine space. It's amazing how many people come on and say, I just got a client that wants to do ceramic coating. How much do I charge them and how do I do it? And they're going out and they're saying they're professionals and they're not applying it properly, which means you're paying for a product and a service that you're not getting the benefit for if they don't properly prepare it. So just ask them, how many times have you done this? How many boats have you done this on? Send me pictures. Let me talk to them. Typically, in the marine space, there's a lot of people that are auto detailers that say, hey, I can do boats and make even more money. That's great. But here's the thing. The products that they're using for the auto side, they just don't last in the marine space. It's a lot harsher environment, okay? Especially if you're in the saltwater, especially if you're in the South. Makes a big impact. So ongoing upkeep, if you do the ceramic coating, you've got to use the right products. The quick wax application is 100% necessary to maintain that ceramic coat to get the longest longevity of it, okay? Now, if you go with the wax, it's going to be cheaper, but you got to do it more often. The wax, again, when it's time to wax, this is when you use the Dawn dish soap, that degreaser. That's when you use that. It's going to take all of the protective coating off. So you're starting with a clean fiberglass surface. If you're in freshwater, you can get away with waxing it once a year. If you're in saltwater, you want to do it at least twice a year. If you're in freshwater, but you're in the South, you want to do it twice a year. And if you're in saltwater in the South, 4 times a year. Salt and UV rays are what damage fiberglass the most, okay? So depending on where you're at, where you boat, that's my recommendation to you. As far as product goes, I think the best, Meguiar's, Stark, and Colonite. Those are the 3. One of those 3 is going to be what you want to use, and easy to apply, good longevity of the protectant. And again, if you maintain that interval based on where you're at, the type of water, you'll be in great shape. Now, if you're like me, my boat sat in the lake for a week and it got a stain on it, that ring around it. If you leave your boat in longer, it can be really bad. The best thing to use is muriatic acid, okay? Now, here's the thing about muriatic acid. This stuff is strong. It's going to etch your galvanized and aluminum trailers, which means it's going to leave markings on them. So you want to protect that. You can spray it down with water, and if any drips on it, spray it off real fast, or you can cover it with a tarp or something like that. And you want to wear eye protection and gloves because it is serious business, okay? Easy on and off from Starbright works great, but you can also go with a toilet bowl cleaner. It's got the same active ingredients. Barkeeper's Friend has a slightly different active ingredient, but works just as well. Just remember, it will damage your trailer if you let it drip on galvanized or aluminum. If it's painted, it's not going to eat through the paint, but still be very, 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 very careful. And the key to it is the way the chemistry works. It's not about scrubbing. It's about letting it sit for a period of time, 30 seconds to a minute to, 2-3 minutes. And you'll see it start to fade that staining as you use it, okay? Now, if you have non-skid, up on the foot rail, maybe up on the bow, maybe on the flooring, you want to use a soft rotary brush with boat soap or a soft hand brush with boat soap to get in those cracks and crevices. And don't forget to wax or coat these areas after cleaning as well. Okay, here's why. It's because those areas, especially if you're doing a lot of fishing and you're using an aggressive cleaner, you're taking all of that protective wax off, that protective coating, and it's going to start to get chalky and it's going to start to deteriorate because it may not seem like it, but gel coat is porous. And those little non-skids are even more porous because of the nature of the way they're laid. So you need to make sure that you re-protect it after you clean it. Now, it's not going to get slick because the texture is what gives it the non-slick surface, but you do want to make sure you protect it. Otherwise, over time, you're going to have some serious problems on your hands. Now, if you've got fiberglass and you have oxidation, it's that hazy, it's that white kind of film that's on it. That's oxidation. That's the outside atmosphere, the UV rays, and the oxygen in the air interacting with what's left on your boat, and it causes that white hazing. If it's really bad, we're going to start with step 1. And if it's not so bad, we can start with step 2, but you're always going to start with step 0, which is that washing and strip the old wax with a degreaser type cleaner, Dawn dish soap, most common, okay? Now, if it's really bad, you want to wet sand it, which is you've got get the surface wet and you're using really fine grit sandpaper to actually sand off that oxidation. It's a buildup. Here's your fiberglass gel coat. It's a buildup on top of that. So you've got to sand that off. So now we can get to the gel coat to clean that up, okay? Or you can use a heavy cut compound. It's not as bad, so we don't need to sand to get it off. We can use a heavy cut compound, which just has a lot of abrasives in it. We're going to use that abrasives with some polishing cream. We're going to use that with our buffer, and we're going to get that oxidation off. Then step 2, we're going to polish it, which has a little bit of light compound, but it's going to take out any of the scratches that heavy compound may have left behind. And then step 3 is now we're going to actually wax it, and this is going to bring that shine and have a protective layer on it, okay? The other option is you can do steps 1 and 2 together, and you can, or 2 and 3 together, and skip step 1 if it's really super light, okay? If that oxidation is just a little bit, then you can use that 2-in-1 polish wax, which has that light compound that then as you heat it up, it's going to have that light compound kind of fade away, and it's going to move into a wax, and it's going to have a protector all in one. It's a time saver. Not as good as doing 1, 2, 3 or just 2, 3, but it's good. And if it's a really light oxidation, you're time sensitive, you can go with that option, but I don't recommend it. You're going to have a better result and your boat's going to look better if you go 1, 2, 3 in separate steps, okay? That's why the detailers charge a lot of money to do it professionally, because it is a good bit of work as your boat gets bigger and bigger. Now, let's say you have an aluminum boat. You've got a pontoon, aluminum fishing boat, something like that. Again, general boat soap, soft brush, or a mitt, aluminum cleaner, hydrofluoric acid. If you've got a big stain on it, you'll find it in Toon Bright. Starbright's got an ultimate aluminum cleaner. And then the aluminum protect it and polish. In my opinion, it's not really necessary. You didn't get an aluminum boat to have a shiny hull, probably, okay? It takes a lot of work, especially if it's a pontoon with the round shape of it and the brackets, the way it's set up. It's difficult to do. It's a lot of work, and that shine, that polish, just ain't gonna last very long, okay? So in my opinion, it's unnecessary, but you certainly can do it if you want to. They've got some wipe-on protectants, which have some UV inhibitors, which could be valuable. That's up to you. Again, I don't think it's 100% necessary. And if you're leaving your boat in salt water, okay, you need to make sure you have the tunes or your hull painted. Because of the growth, because of the nature of saltwater, you need an extra layer of protection. Otherwise, you'll have bigger problems down the line. But you want to make sure it's a non-copper based paint. If it has any metal in it, it's going to cause pitting in your tunes and in your hull, and then your boat's going to sink. Like literally, your boat will get holes in it, and it's just little teeny tiny pinholes. So if you do this yourself, or if you have somebody that's going to do it for you, make sure they know what they're doing. Make sure you know what product they're using to paint. Make sure it's designated for aluminum hulls, because any dissimilar metals, when they first started painting pontoons and putting them in salt water, they were getting pinholes all throughout the tunes, and they were sinking, causing problems. And it would determine that, hey, we're causing galvanic corrosion because of the dissimilar metals. That's going to eat away at the metal. It's going to cause little tiny pinholes, and boom, next thing you know, your investment's not looking great. If you're shopping for a boat, grab the Boat Buyer's Toolkit. If you're already a boat owner, the Boater Bootcamp is an amazing 3-part video series. You can pick those up if you want. Canvas and biminis, okay? Spray your canvas yearly. Typically that's enough. You can use just some basic soap and water, your boat soap. The 303 convertible fabric cleaner is great. That's what I typically use. I like 303. The Starbright canvas cleaner is good. Scrub it with the soft brush as needed. So you've got some of those areas where the spiders are, some of the areas where water may sit if rain's coming in. You can use that soft brush. And then it needs to be re-waterproofed every so often, depending on where it's stored. If it's stored outside, uncovered, in the south, in the salt water, I would do it every year to every 2 years. If it's sitting covered in the Midwest, and every 5 years you can get away with it. I like the 303 fabric protectant. It's what I used on my convertible top when I had that. It works great. As a matter of fact, I just reapplied it to our canvas cover this past spring, and it's amazing. It protects. You can even see on the driveway where I sprayed it around, or where my daughter sprayed it around, that she got it on the cement. You can clearly see that it's protecting the cement. Stuff works great, and it beads up, but you just have to reapply it every 2 to 5 years, depending on where you're at and where the boat sits most of the time. Stainless steel. Stainless steel, you need to clean it. Salt water, you need to clean and protect it monthly. If you're in freshwater, you can do it yearly. We've got it easy in freshwater. The Flitz from Surehold is great. Boat Life, Meguiar's, Starbright, all of those are good solid stainless steel cleaners and protectors. They've got it clean and protect all in one. And you just, you swirl it on. If you've got some rust on there or anything, it's got some, a little bit of abrasiveness that'll take that off. Clean it all up, wipe it off, and you're in good shape for the next time. And then here are some final tips, just some extra stuff. UV rays cause damage on everything. The sun beating down, if you put your boat in a spot where the sun's beating down on one side, hey, keep it covered or try to keep it out of the sun. One super easy tip to do this, a custom canvas person can sew flaps into your canvas cover that just zip on. That's the easiest way to do it. Velcro, snap, whatever you want. And it will drape over and it'll cover the gunnel, the side of your boat from that sun. If you need one that goes over the swim platform, they can add it on so you can add it after the fact. And it's really easy to do. There's a lot of great custom canvas people out there that they can build you whatever you want. And think about long-term protecting of the boat. The money you're going to save on detailing and buffing and the return you'll get on resale. Moisture, humidity, condensation. That ruins more boat interiors than anything else because that's where mold and mildew start. And I've got a video coming out on mold and mildew very soon. So check that out. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell so you get notified. So what that means is you want to keep it clean, you want to keep it dry, and you want to keep it vented. If it's not vented, if there's no way for air to escape, well, then you're creating a little greenhouse where every time that the humidity goes up and down, it's going to leave condensation. It's going to get on the top of your canvas cover. It's going to soak down into the upholstery. It's going to leave the stains on the upholstery up on the edge where the canvas is hitting it. It's going to make mold and mildew more likely to start growing. And that's a huge, huge problem. Dry rid or damp rid, it's really cheap insurance if you're leaving your boat sitting for long periods of time, certainly in the winter time, if you're putting it away for months. It's cheap insurance to avoid that mold and mildew. But that moisture, leaving a wet towel, forgetting a wet life jacket or paper towel that got soaked and is still sitting in the boat somewhere, that's all it takes. And then you get the temperature in the right range, and boom, in a week you can have a mold and mildew problem. Those spores are really hard to get rid of. Do that basic cleaning after every outing. It really does make everything else way, way easier when you are out. Avoid spraying water directly onto any electronic stereo or the engine components. Like if you open your cowling or if you open the engine compartment, you can spray some water around, but just don't spray it on any of the electrical connections. Spraying it directly at the engine, it's going to potentially get somewhere that's going to cause a problem. And avoid abrasive and harsh cleaners, magic erasers, Comet, scratchy pads, those green scratchy pads, bleach. Avoid those. They tend to cause more damage than what they're worth unless you use them very, 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 very sparingly in only the most dire of situations, but not your everyday cleaning products. If you are a boat owner, you can grab the Boater Bootcamp. Since you watched to the end, if you go to boaterbootcamp.com, you can get it for free. You won't pay anything, totally free. Even more valuable information for boat owners. And remember, life truly is better on a boat.